Hey, I'm Mike O'Dowd with USCCA, and today I'm going to show you a series of drills that'll keep you sharp while on the range. First, I'm going to show them to you, demo them, and then break them down step by step to make you a better and more effective shooter. So for this drill, I like to do when I first step on the range. Maybe it's been a couple weeks since you last shot, or maybe it's been a few days, doesn't matter. You like to test your baseline, see where you're at under cold bore circumstances. So it's going to be 3 types of shots from the holster. I'm going to first draw and shoot 5 shots out of the gate with both hands. Then I'm going to reholster, then draw one hand, 5 shots with the right hand, and then holster. And then I'm going to draw and shoot 5 shots with my offhand and then holster. See how it goes. All right, that was 206 with a first draw of 132. First draw of 132. Stand by one-handed. That was a 224 with a first draw of 152. A little slower on that first draw. All right. That was a 297 with my offhand, and the first draw was 217. It's very slow on the first draw, but once again, when you switch hands, it's not really applicable to draw and switch hands. It's more of like a what if my arm went down thing. So worry less about the draw and worry more about the accuracy and the split times for when you switch hands. All right, so I threw one out in the Charlie and everything else was in the Alpha. It's been probably 4 days since I last shot. And you know, whenever you go a couple of days, maybe you haven't been dry firing, maybe you haven't been live firing, you're going to be a little bit rusty. You're going to knock the rust off. This is a great drill to kind of see where you're at. It's not a warm-up so much as it is a test of your baseline skills after you have or haven't been training. So what we're looking for in the 3 drills, the first drill is draw and shoot 5 shots with my normal grip, both hands. That I'm looking at what the first draw shot is. In this case, the draw time was somewhere, you know, in the 1.3s. It was under 1.5 seconds. I recommend as a goal for most, you know, normal everyday self-defense shooters, try to have a draw time under 1.5 seconds. Anything under that is quite good. Anything lower and lower, you know, is just exceptional. You want to keep the draw time fast, and then you want to look at your split times. How fast are the split times between shots? And then lastly, you want to look at how accurate it is. So if you go back a little bit further, it's going to spread out. At 5 yards, if you can keep everything in an alpha, chest size target, you're doing really well. So we have 3 different intervals. We have a 5 yard, a 10 yard, and a 15 yard. We're going to be running to each of those distances. When I start here, I've got a magazine loaded with 12 rounds, and then a backup mag. I start at the 5 yard. When the buzzer goes, I'm going to draw, shoot 3 shots, shoot 3 shots at the other target. I turn and I move. I go back to the 10 yard. I shoot 3 shots and I shoot 3 shots. So now I've engaged 3, 6, 9, 12. At this point, I'll have a reload probably. If I load it right, I get my reload on the fly, I turn, and from 15 yards, I shoot 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 at both targets, and then I'm done. We like to set up manipulation drills any chance we get, so instead of loading it with 20 rounds or like a higher cap mag, recommend loading lower cap mags. That way it forces more reloads, or even using dummy rounds for the jams. Let's see how this one goes. Whew, all right. I can already feel I threw a few shots. I think I threw a few at that 10 yard, but this is a great test because it forces you to move fast and stabilize quickly. A lot of it has to do with body position, how low or high I sink into it. For instance, on this back one, I felt very high up, felt a little bit more unstable. You also hear the cadence change. So from 5 yards, pop, pop, pop. From 10 yards, pop, pop, pop. And from 15 yards is pop, pop, pop. It slows down. You have to slow down if you want to make the shots. Let's go ahead and take a look at what I got. And the time was 13:09. 13:09, and the first shot out of the gate was a 1-4. So kind of a slow first draw, but better safe than sorry, I think. So I had a clean run on the left side. Left side felt great. Every time I was shooting, I felt really great. This right side over here, man, this was throwing me off. My natural point of aim just kept pushing this left. So you see I'm hugging this left side of the A zone. So the group wasn't too bad, but then I threw a couple, right? I never mind throwing high up in the air, but definitely off to the left, man. I was throwing that. That was my second target. So each time I presented left and then shifted right. And I find that happens with a lot of students, that when they aim for the first target straight, when they shift, they either shoot too early or they pass the target and shoot late. So what I just found out about my shooting is today, as I push over, I'm shooting just a bit too early, or I'm bouncing back and I'm shooting off to the left side. Something we see from a lot of our shooters is that when they change distances, they don't change the cadence of the way they shoot. Remember, you can't possibly shoot at distance the same speed that you shoot up close without a greater impact on your accuracy. So training your brain, training your muscle memory to change cadence depending how far or how close you go to the target is really important, and drills like this will really help you with that. So I learned a lot from this. Highly recommend you guys do this at home using whatever intervals you guys have as well. Try to push that speed. So my time, like I said, was 13:09. Next time I want to run, I want to go even faster, see if I can push that time and shrink the target while pushing that time. Hey, I'm pausing the video right now to let you know about a free giveaway that USCCA has going on right now. Check out the link below for all the details, and let's get back to the video. I'm gonna go over a drill that we do with a lot of our students working with rifle. We try to work as many manipulation drills as possible. And what we find is most people tend to shoot very rarely with their rifle anyway, but they shoot even less with their off shoulder. This is a drill to help you switch shoulders, and a drill that's going to help you make your off shoulder less of an off shoulder, or maybe even having two equal shoulders. The way we teach switching shoulders, there's many ways you can do this, but this has 3 touch points as opposed to 4. When I have my rifle built up, my gun hand, my trigger hand is gonna go forward. My forehand is gonna come back, switch shoulders. If I have a single point sling, I may have to dip to avoid it choking my neck. And if I have a dual point, that's okay, I can just slide it over. But I bring it over to this and my hand slides. So when I'm switching shoulders, I wanna take my trigger hand and I wanna go up to the front 1, bring my forehand back 2, switch the shoulder, and then move my hand up is 3. So when I'm counting 1, 2, 3, I'm just literally talking about my hand touch points as 3, as opposed to a lot of different other ways where I see 4 or even 5 touch points. So once again, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One of the more challenging things for people is to find the red dot or find the optic with their non-dominant eye. Something to keep in mind, we teach our students, is always having the same touch point on the cheek, right? Always having the same touch point, high or low on the cheek where you normally shoot from, and then also the distance from the nose to the charging handle. We've kind of gone away from that. When we were running iron sights back in the day, we always had our nose the same distance to the charging handle. Then going to red dots, it kind of didn't matter. You could be back here, you could be up here. But more recently, people have switched to LPVO or even long range, more optical style scopes. And with those, you have to have your face at the same distance to the charging handle. So if I normally shoot from here with my LPVO or another sight, then on my right side, I want to shoot the same distance to my charging handle. Similarly, if my chin is up here to shoot, then on the right side, it should be the exact same. In this case, it's right here on this cheek. And as I switch, it's right here on the same part of this cheek. And last but not least, if you are having trouble finding that dot, it's okay to squint, right? We don't necessarily want to close our eye to see out of this eye, but that's okay. If you have to do it to learn it with your eye closed and then slowly start to squint it open. and you'll get better at it in no time. Let's take a look at the drill. All right, so for the actual drill, we're gonna put 2 shots on each shoulder. 1, 2, switch shoulders, 1, 2, and just keep going back and forth. It'll look like this. So what you're seeing was the constant switching. What I want you to build is really just the muscle memory habit of switching. So how many reps you actually need to do, well, that's on you. Hundreds, if not thousands, will take to get mastery. I would definitely recommend going through a few different magazines when you go to the range. Just get that muscle memory tired out. Go 30 round mag, 30 round mag, 30 round mag, or if you only have 10s, 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 and just keep going back and forth till that muscle memory really sits in. So the level up of that drill, because that's very static, I always like to incorporate movement in what I'm doing. The level up is we're gonna be walking forward and walking back while switching shoulders. It's important to keep your walk nice and flat, smooth, to keep the barrel flat. So I walk heel, toe, and then going backwards, I go toe, heel, toe, heel. Quick demo, here we go, walking forward. All right, so anytime I want to advance a drill, all I do is add walking or add movement to it. So in this case, it was walking forward and walking back, and you'll see what has stuck to your muscle memory and what is still being learned. And then you can always go back to static and relearn it, okay? All right, if you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that like button and make sure you subscribe. Also, we'd love to hear in the comments section from you guys, not just different drills that you do, but any questions on this specific drill. We have a lot of people who have trouble switching shoulders, and a lot of people having trouble finding that eye relief and finding the optic. Let us know if you're having trouble with that and ask us questions here. Also, how many of you guys are using iron sights? How many of you are using red dot? And how many of you are using LPVO or some kind of optic? We would love to hear that, because we're trying to get a baseline. Most people we see are not shooting iron sights. Like 1 in 100 are probably shooting iron sights to this day. We see a lot of people with red dots, and more people are coming out with those LPVOs or another type of optic. So let us know in the comment section. And as always, continue training, because that's how we move forward and that's how we progress.